What's up, everyone? This video is going to be what's your caught in a not safe for work situation at work, posted by Kong Hong. First one, a few weeks after I started at a new company, they hired a new and very pretty secretary near me. Every dude at the office was getting shot down by her, except some guy on the second floor. The guy was your typical jacked, tan, slicked hair sort of guy that can win a woman over with a smile. He won her attention, and every day I'd overhear him flirting with her hard over at her desk. Anyway, fast forward another couple months to some random work day. I need to go do a supplies run, and my boss needed some stuff too. So we take a walk over to a small supply closet. He unlocks the door, and we walk in to see the secretary and this tan guy going at it hard. There was a good few seconds of all of us making direct eye contact when my boss closes the door and walks away without saying a word. I wasn't sure what to do, so just sort of go back to my desk. An hour goes by, and I still haven't seen my boss or the secretary, and I'm not sure if any of my coworkers would believe it if I had said anything. All of a sudden, my desk phone rings. The lady on the line is with HR and wants me in her office now. I get in there and see the secretary crying in one seat in the entrance area beside my boss, who is pale as a ghost. In an office a few feet away, the tan dude is having a screaming match with the HR woman. When I walk in, a similar moment occurred to the storage closet, and everyone froze and locked eyes. HR woman comes out of her office and has the tan dude go in her coworker's office while she invites me in to talk. All of a sudden, when I'm in the office with the HR lady, she starts breaking down crying. I mean sobbing and snotting everywhere. Unsure what to say or do, I ask if she's okay. She apologizes and then tells me that the tan guy is her husband. I have no idea what to do, so just keep saying it'll be okay over and over. First thing that popped into my head. After a few minutes of her crying, she straightens herself out, had me confirm what my boss had happened, then told me I was good to go back to my desk. A bit later, my boss comes to my desk and asks/tells me we're going to lunch. The moment we're in his car, he lets out a huge sigh and blankly says, "I had no idea they were married." Both the husband and secretary were fired, and the boss and I chuckled about the incident forever. I believe the HR woman ended up getting remarried, and total gossip, so who can tell if it's true, the secretary had given the tan guy herpes. What a ride. At my last job, there was this deaf guy who was nonverbal. The company brought in an ASL translator for every meeting, which was the only time you could really interact with him face to face. Honestly, a stand-up guy though. One day, I'm in the washroom taking a dump, and I hear something strange in the stall next to me. The steady schlick, schlick, schlick of someone jerking off, then some grunting. So I finished up quick and left the washroom. It was just me and the masturbator in there. I checked his shoes, then stood outside and pretended to be on the phone. Turns out it was the deaf guy. I just smiled and waved when I saw him. From then on, I noticed that he went to the washroom for a suspiciously long time every day. I guess no one told him masturbating makes noises. I used to work in a call center for a major satellite TV provider. Other than the usual perv that would call to be gross, we had one dude who would call and just make us read off porno titles. What do y'all have? Backdoor Sluts 9, Busty Blondes 2, etc. All the while he would just beat his meat to ladies reading the names of dirty movies. Not me, but a past coworker. We'll call him Bob Smith. He had logged in to a shared computer in our lab one day. He pulled up Outlook, and then turned around to do something with his phone while Outlook loaded. Well, let me tell you, our corporate mail filter failed that day. I walk in to see Bob turned away from the screen, and on the screen, in the Outlook preview pane, nearly fully screened, was an email, in huge letters, "Bob Smith, are you getting enough big black dick?" And of course, this lovely email was accompanied by a picture showing exactly what they were talking about, just in case you were unsure. I try to suppress a laugh and just say to him, "Well, Bob, are you?" He looked at me. Am I what? What are you talking about? I point to the screen. He can't hit that delete button fast enough. The words, well, are you, with no further context for anyone else overhearing, became the running joke between us. My old married, wife and kids, boss had a ton of nudes on the work computer of mostly other women and occasionally himself. They were labeled mundane things like Maloney job site. Somehow he synced his personal email to the work one, and I discovered he was picking up men on Craigslist. Every subject lines like, suck my cock daddy, or are hard to ignore. He was such a miserable, nasty, explosively angry person and went viral for a funny house selling video. Only got caught peripherally on this one. One of my IT guys assigned to one of our regional offices kept getting help requests from one clerical, and most of the problems were questionable at best. She obviously just wanted to see him. One day he gets a call and goes up to her cubicle, and she's standing there with her pants off. He backed out of that, put her on his do not respond list until things could get straightened out, and then called me for help since nothing he had done was working. Since she wasn't my employee, I picked up the phone and called the regional director. The initial contact was something like, "Hi, regional first name basis, you know. I've always supported casual Fridays, but don't you think No Pants Friday are a little too much?" Not quite caught, and not quite not safe for work, but at work, comfy on the bowl, pooping and reading. I finish up, reach for the toilet paper, and my back completely goes out on me. I felt like somebody kicked me in the spine, and I couldn't move. It took me an hour to be able to move enough to wipe and get my pants up. Another hour to hobble into my boss's office to tell her where I had been, that I was in agony, and that I needed to go to the doctor. I ended up getting prescribed a month of physical therapy and therapeutic massages to get over that tragic wiping incident. Back in the early 2000s, there was a not safe for work prank floating around the internet. If you clicked it, a looping video of two guys going at it popped up on your screen, and the PC speaker squawked, "Hey everybody, I'm watching gay porn." That wasn't the worst of it. If you tried to close the browser, it spawned two more and kept spawning more if you closed those. I worked in IT and thought it was a hilarious prank, so I sent it to my supervisor in an email titled "Important System Update." We always played practical jokes on each other, and this would have just been par for the course. Only problem is, he thought it was legit and sent it to the whole floor. My horror when only a few moments later I hear it playing on one PC, then another. Almost everyone in the office had clicked the link. People panicked, turned off their system, losing all their work. It was a huge shit show. Believe it or not, I never got fired and actually got promoted a year later. Telling my friend's story, with her permission of course. My friend had a big interview this day. She studied nutrition in college and was interviewing with a hospital in Boston to work on their dietetics team. She went to the interview and met with a hospital worker, sat down, and chatted for a bit. It was going well, so the interviewer asked if she wanted a tour of the area of the hospital she would be working in. She agreed, and the hospital was beautiful, but the interviewer seemed a bit awkward during the tour. She figured this was their way of politely ending the interview when they weren't interested, and tried to brush the awkwardness off and compensate by being more energetic, which only seemed to make the interviewer even more awkward. Finally, at the end of the tour when she was leaving, the interviewer admitted she had a lovely sweater, but there was a lacy black thong stuck to her back from static. She had been parading around the hospital trying to talk herself up, all the while walking around with a thong displayed for all to see. Needless to say, she didn't end up working there, and to this day jokes about how if she's ever dying and we need to send her to a hospital, how she'd rather die than be admitted there. Walked into the bathroom to see two male co-workers looking at one another's crotches and saying, "Yeah, I'm taking you to the hospital right now." Turns out the one guy being examined was special needs and needed help knowing if he needed medical attention for a nasty skin rash. Turns out that it was just heat rash from wearing really hot clothing during the summer. That's going to be it for this video. If you guys liked it, please hit the like button, comment, and subscribe, and stick around for the next video.